What's up, bro? What's up, bro? What's up, bro? What's up, bro? What's the gun range? Nah, you ain't going to the damn gun range. Let's go to 12 below. I think my electric bills will be like $60 this month. Stunner. Let's see what that wood. It's supposed to have a package coming today or tomorrow. One day. I'll tell you what you can. Let me turn this fan on. Let me get steamy. So, y'all that dope. People don't know. Motherfucker don't care. Motherfucker don't care. I don't care about bullshit. People make a mistake. They think I care about their bullshit. I don't. And now, I think I got lizards living next door. There's always a cold water draining and shit. Unless they pooping that much, that's just crazy. I don't get it. Let's be a little positive. This thing's crooked. Okay. Turn it around by accident. There we go. Letting my hair and my beard come in. What's gonna shave all this one? Wow, it's coming in. Got my vegan cereal. Eat this up a little bit. Let's wait till people get into the room. Some blueberries in there. No strawberries. I don't trust the strawberries right now. It's like the okra. Too many pesticides. You want to look out? No, I'll put it back up. I just only like looking when I'm reading with the lights on. Not that I care. They can deal with it. There you go. Can you see? So there's it. Nope. Mikey, maybe JR, what's going on? Oklahoma, what's up, baby? Just bear with me for a minute. I dozed off for a minute. I was reading. I was reading this. One of this was that's still mentally ill. Oh. (1987) 88. Anyway, the 90-year-old Mason was a kid in the 1800s. She was born into the order. Yorkshire Rite. And a lot of them of her time period knew exactly what it was all about. And when she said, "I'm sorry about you and your land," I said, "What land? I'm not African." She said, "I didn't say African. I said your land. What they call America." I said, "That, but that's not the name of it." She says, "Oh, they know." That's why I always ask these natives, what's the name of this land? They never get it right. Not one of them. Sorry if I'm hungry. I'm gonna let y'all know I'm gonna read. This is cold pressed almond and macadamia milk. It is so good, so sweet, no added sugar. Oh, with coconut, blueberries, ganejo, and oat and chia seed with clusters with well, with almonds and pecans. Yeah, it's so good. That's what you want to eat if you work out. Excuse me, but I gotta eat this. I don't want to get mushy. Surprisingly, it's not really full of carbs. It's about, I think it was exactly right at 220 calories. 19 grams of protein. It's got peanut butter mixed in with it. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so good. When I'm in the bed watching Boondocks or something, just a little reprieve, you know, all R&R from reading or whatever, drawing, writing. At night, well, I shouldn't eat nothing. You gotta eat all that. I'm not feeding you till 5 o'clock. Oh my goodness. I wish y'all was all here and we all had a bowl of this. I'll be like, "Bruh, I'm gonna slap your mama." Don't slap your mama. Don't slap your mama, but this is phenomenal. You feel me? Hey, Scott. I'm going to go ahead and start reading here in a minute. I just want to get this down because I don't like it soggy. And it's roughly about, with almond macadamia milk, roughly about 9 to 10 ounces. That's not a whole lot. And then I won't eat until about 5 o'clock anyway. When I feed him, then I'll eat. I'll show you what I'm gonna make. I'll take a picture of it and post it. Oh, it's so good, y'all. Give me some energy. And no, I took a break from smoking weed, so it's not the munchies. It's been a while. Since Arcadia. Which is good. All right. That is so freaking good. Anything's good. Everything's good when you're hungry. So how's it going, everybody? Let's go ahead and get into the reading. Let's turn it down a little more. Excuse me. This Samuel surround sound, it be in here booming. Well, let me right now. Let me let you know. It went down to 60. Let's see if it's still there. All right, good. It is right at. Excuse me. Okay, it went down to 57. It's at 65. My current exposure of electromagnetic. And it's all, and you know what the funny thing is? It's always the let me make sure I'll type it in right. The highest is the hidden SSID. And y'all do know what SSID is, right? As far as my internet, it's only at 44. What is the hidden SSID? It has nothing to do with here. It's the repeaters, the towers. So at different plateaus, it affects different, depending on the strength signal being put out. It's literally roasting everybody. You know what I mean? So anyway, salute, brothers, sisters, you come up in here. Let's go ahead and get into the God. Let's try it down more. I should rinse my mouth out, right? Excuse me. Get this reading over because I'm going to shoot. I wish I was here to go shooting, man. Let's go ahead and get. B vitamin. All right, let's get into The Gods of Eden by William Bramley. The chilling truth about extraterrestrial infiltration and the conspiracy to keep humankind in chains. All right, here we are. When we last left off here, just to remind you guys. When we last left off here. Young Cherokee 5. Appreciate you. All right. We were at some persuasive sounding arguments have been advanced to refute the evidence that one or more extraterrestrial societies have been visiting the Earth, and some of those arguments are worth addressing. Well, let's get into some of those arguments, all right? That's a lot better. All right, here we go. 1. No intelligent life other than mankind has been proven to exist. I think that's still too loud, isn't it? Duh. Anyway, no intelligent life other than mankind has been proven to exist elsewhere in the universe. At first glance, this seems to be true. However, one need only look right here on Earth to find other intelligent life forms. Studies of dolphins and other large marine mammals have revealed a high intelligence in many of those creatures. Analysis of other mammals have uncovered in some of them a level of intelligence much higher than previously believed. Pigs are smarter than dogs. Fact. Donkeys, if they truly are meant for you, will outperform a horse to a degree, depending on the breed. This reveals that there are a great many intelligent and semi-intelligent creatures in the universe known to us. Elephants, orcas, dolphins, owls. Do you know how many varieties of owls there are? Even the spider monkey, likened unto a youngling. Oh, and the iguana. Oh, the Komodo dragon. If you, Komodo dragons are born into the world, if you imprint, they imprint upon you, listen to me. You will never have to worry about them attacking you. They will get big. They get bigger than what you've seen. I've seen a Komodo dragon that was, I thought it was an alligator. I'm serious. Big. In Belize. Big. I was like, that's a Komodo? That thing looked like God. One of the things belonging to God. It was big. I always known them to be like 3 feet long or something. But this thing was on the beach, big as a friggin', I thought it was a gator or something. Anywho, this reveals that there are a great many intelligent and semi-intelligent creatures in the universe known to us, and we share a planet with them. The fact that they are all flourish together on this one small planet is an excellent indication that other intelligent creatures can exist elsewhere under the right conditions. Yeah, it's called natural order. Number 2, there has not been a single UFO unidentified flying object sighting which could not be explained as a natural or human phenomenon. Therefore, all UFOs must be such phenomena. Very basic. This argument uses faulty logic. It is possible to explain almost anything as anything. And I suppose one could explain the sun as billions of fireflies held in a gigantic glass bowl. This explanation, however, does not fit the evidence, as well as the better theory that the sun is a huge mass of compressed hydrogen, which is undergoing a process of atomic fusion, to which we know that's not even what it is. There's order to the sun. It's a mass of solid that has a life expectancy we know nothing about, regardless of these hyperbaric idiots proclaiming knowledge of something they cannot even touch. Only written knowledge passed down. That's why they blatantly put out these false narratives. Even the heat of the sun is unknown. When I was walking in that 5% of foolishness, and we were talking about what degree of building, what degree does the sun burn at? Yeah, oh man, it was just foolishness. And I remember when I was in the military, I was like, guys are like quadrillions off as far as how the sun actually operates. Many UFO sightings are given prosaic explanations only by ignoring evidence which clearly reveals that they are not earthly phenomena. If one is selective enough in choosing which evidence and testimonies to believe, one can invent almost any explanation to fit almost any UFO sighting. The trick is to find the best explanation to fit the true and complete facts. How could it be facts if it's finding something that fits, that's relevant to the conversation, but not actually steeped in physical facts? It's not a fact, right? A fact of what they're stating, but it's not a fact. It's like whenever I say something's a fact, it doesn't mean that it's true. It's a fact as far as my knowledge or what I've ascertained. In many instances, the true and complete Facts indicate that a UFO is indeed best explained as a natural phenomenon. In other in other cases, the best explanation is that a UFO is probably an intelligently guided craft of non-human origin, and many remarkable sightings do fit this latter category. As for 3, there has been no hard evidence of UFOs or ancient astronauts. Physical objects, I detest the word UFO, I really do, people. Physical objects constitute hard evidence in ufology. A piece of hard evidence might be a crashed saucer or the body of an extraterrestrial pilot. It is argued that if alien spacecraft have been flying in Earth's skies for thousands of years, we should have a piece of concrete physical evidence by now. Now, setting aside allegations and evidence that some governments may have a crashed saucer or two secreted away, secreted away, we cannot logically expect to find too many alien artifacts. Now, to explain why, I will make an analogy between UFOs and modern commercial jetliners. Millions of commercial airline flights take off from United States airports every year. Despite this enormous volume, very few people will ever stumble upon a crashed jetliner or dead crew member because only a tiny percentage of all flights end in disaster. And equally few individuals will ever find any instruments or debris tossed from jetliners because jetliners are self-contained and the navigators rarely gouge instruments from the flight panels and have them out the cockpit window. Now, if it were not for the fact that most of us can see commercial jet aircraft and fly in them, the hard evidence of their existence would be surprisingly scant, especially if they were to be manufactured in and flown only to and from remote areas. Wow, hey Snoo, what's up, baby? Now let us translate this into a mathematical formula. Based upon the United States Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, statistics, roughly 1 in every million flights by major U.S. carriers departing from American airports, U.S. carriers, American airports, you see the separation, suffers a series of accidents, such as a crash landing away from an airport, or the loss of a significant piece of the plane. Now, this admiral safety record makes air travel one of the safest models of transportation today, safer than driving. Now, not when you're going down, though. Let us assume that the reported alien spacecraft in our skies have precisely the same safety record as an American commercial jet aircraft. No better and no worse. Let us guess that 2,000 flying saucer flights are made over Earth every year. That amounts to 5.5 flights every day. We will assume that each hypothetical saucer flight is made at a low enough altitude that if a mishap should occur, the debris would fall to Earth before disintegrating in the atmosphere. The heck? Putting all of the above figures together, we discovered that a flying saucer would crash or drop a substantial chunk of debris only once every 5 centuries. That would amount to only 12 crashes since the dawn of mankind's first recorded civilization. Now, if we cut the safety factor in half and double the number of hypothetical UFO flights to 4,000 per year, 11 per day, or leave the safety factor the same and quadruple the number of low-level saucer flights to 8,000 per year, 22 per day, that would still amount to only 1 crash or major piece of debris once every 125 years. You see what he's doing? Now, regardless of the number crunching and everything, it's hypothetical. It's based upon their research is how many sightings, confirmed, not confirmed, unsure. Well, you see what they're doing now. They're saying, yeah, we got UFOs because they need to bring Armageddon. They need to come bring full destruction. And it's and the best way to do it is to have an all-out world war to which this fictional government, the one that you don't see, that hires certain people to be the fighting arm, there's different branches of the CIA and Mossad, everything else. And these people you never know about, never hear about. And they would be the ones dropping bombs and blowing cities up and everything else. Hypothetically, I cannot confirm nor deny whether that is true. I figured that would be good with all this UFO craze going on. And it's well known that any aircraft you see out there and they're being updated, well, they got some stuff for you. You hear me? They've got some stuff. Probably 100, 200 years more advanced, or advanced enough that you just don't know it exists. Every person that I was watching on YouTube, about 3 brothers, a few Pelskins that were building UFOs, they all disappeared. Now, what's funny is in the 50s, I forget the name of it, but they had this flying thing that didn't have a motor and it was electric. He would stand up in this thing. Now the latter ones, to which you could Google up right now, those had some kind of propulsion. The first ones that they were getting killed, Army, what you call it, guys were getting killed, learning how to fly, pilots. They used to take them up pretty high and fly around woods and jungles and stuff. Real talk. And all of a sudden you can't even, I think some people have some video footages, but you can't even, I can't pull it up. Now, if you can pull it up, share it. Let's get to reptilians in the history of humankind, the Anunnaki and Henry Crane. By Henry Crane. Excuse me. All right, here we go. Yeah. After a long discussion, it's my own saliva, y'all. There was no food in it. After a long discussion, they came to the first agreement. That is, not to inform the Reptilian Alliance and in general to all the reptilian races of the birth of this new self-aware species of human, Lulus, and that inhabited the planet Uranus, Earth, URAS. Because if they did it, it could create a conflict in the interests of the rest of the reptilian races. Now, the Draconians voted in favor of this first agreement since it was very convenient for them to convert the Earth into one more of their farms. So they swore to respect this agreement with the rest of the Confederation. Now, that means, I guess, human flesh. Now, the next question they asked Anu was why they had decided to accelerate the evolution of an inferior race. And his answer was that they needed a greater force of labor to create the portal. And they questioned him if that was the only reason. Excuse me. And he answered yes. And this answer did not convince the GCC, the Galactic, Confederacy. Okay, y'all know what it is. Okay, I just want to make sure that y'all staying with me. Okay, kind of Confederation. So they went to the crucial point of the meeting of that assembly of why they had decided to activate 3 atomic bombs to exterminate the Lulus. Anu answered very calmly that they had not activated those bombs to exterminate anyone. They had just had a problem with a Usmogo, an Anunnaki named Pazuzu, who had rebelled against them and tried to steal the fate tablets. And not achieving that, he stole 3 atomic weapons and activated them in revenge. Anu also clarified that Pazuzu had been captured and subjected to the death penalty. As the reptilian laws said, Anu finally added that the human race had not been completely exterminated, that there were many survivors, and that at that time, the repopulation of the earth was taking place. Now, it should be noted that the tablets of destiny, or ME tablets, were a type of device, a kind of microchip, very important. Excuse me. Very important in the Anunnaki life, since they were the key to activate destructive weaponry. Wow, that's crazy, right? Oh, that's interesting, actually, not crazy. Wow, that's bad. Anyway, control space. This is also, let's continue on. Control spacecraft or direct any Anunnaki technological devices. Now, in addition, the ME tablets contain laws and decrees to govern the most lethal war strategies and weapon instructions and defensive tools to be invulnerable and etc. These tablets of destiny were always used by Anu, Enki, and Enlil, and the last one had used them to create terror in humans, subdue them, and manipulate them through fear, and so had forced them to perform human sacrifices. This microchip, or ME tablet, was represented in the old engravings as if it were a clock, carrying them on their wrists. It sounds like some Predator stuff. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do. Just saying. Resuming the assembly of the Galactic Confederation, the insectoids questioned Anu about the reason of constructing weapons. Anu gave many explanations, but all without any sense. After a great debate, they came to a conclusion that the Anunnaki, while repopulating the Earth, should be watched constantly. In addition to that, they had to help the Earth to raise its vibrational level. Therefore, the Pleiadians proposed to implant a spy satellite with which they could watch the Anunnaki and emit vibrations to help the Earth. Although at first the Draconians did not agree with the idea, in the end they accepted it, on the condition that any member of the Galactic Federation had access to the information broadcasted by the satellite. Now the Draconians saw an opportunity with the satellite to keep Anu under surveillance, since they did not trust him very much. And the assembly, of that day was closed with this agreement, and was convened that within a draconian month there would be another assembly to decide the fate of the intraterrestrials and humans. That it was how they decided that the moon would be implanted in the Earth. In the Earth's atmosphere. In the Earth's atmosphere. It was taken from a planet location in the Pleiades and transferred to the orbit of the Earth. This mission was entrusted to the Pleiadians and was started about 11,000 years ago. This is why the Atlanteans and Lemurians are known as the pre-lunar civilizations. Pre-lunar. And there is such a state of pre-lunar occupation. A lot living. This agreement to implant the moon on Earth had a secret goal of the Galactic Confederation against the reptilians. While this assembly was being held on Earth, it had already been 371 years since Anu had left. And since each draconian day equals 53 terrestrial years, listen, each draconian day is equivalent to 53 terrestrial years. And in all this time, Marduk started to fall into the temptation offered by humans, and the elixir that they emanated when they felt fear, obviously influenced by their uncle Enlil. So when a person feels fear, what is released? From the pineal gland. And they have us believing only babies. Well, it's just like baby monkeys or anything other animal. It's all the same. But in humans, it's like the nectar of life. And it could be death. The beginning and the end. Yet we can release it all the time. The problem is it's been shut off. the Earth within the moon within Earth's orbit. And then when I told you what planets mean, right? Plane is a network of planes, of planets. Like, I didn't say it so much that way, but you know, extraterrestrial, extraterranean, outside of this land. Like, this language is so jacked up, man. But once you start realizing these things and you start implementing it, especially when you read, things start making more sense. They do. Next, we'll be getting into the backward evolution of humankind. Okay, just gonna put a mark on top of there. I want to highlight something too. Go back over here. I want to highlight something. And yeah, manipulate through fear, which brings us back to, since the draconian started a temptation often the elixir that the enemies that they emanated when felt by fear. Pretty freaking awesome. It's good stuff, y'all. Move my tab over. No, the Hathor material. Messages from an Ascended Civilization by Tom Kenyon and Virginia Essence. Have any of y'all Googled the Hathors? And that's my cousin, Junebug. I'll hit you in a minute, bro. See what's going on with him. Have any of y'all Googled? I hate Google, but you know, web searched any of those, like the Hathors, the carvings and stuff, or the handprints, as was stated. It just went out for a minute. As was stated in the podcast we had, me, DJ, and Westside and Rondo or Ganje. Yeah, go on Google that and look those up. Just like Googling the old world, because there's some people putting out a lot of information, but some of the buildings that they're saying belong to the old world were actually imitation, built anew, and they weren't perfect because they're always getting reconstruction. The buildings of old were been around for thousands of years. Okay, so just Google this stuff and pay attention in your cities, in your neighborhoods when you walk. You know, and you see a hill, if you have hilly areas, and you see this little curve of a window in the street, and look, pay attention, like what in this? And if you see an elevator, right, freight elevator, that's put in around the 70s or 80s, maybe 60s, and they were used as coal cellars in these buildings. Trust me, especially in New York. Look at it. Chicago. Pay attention. San Francisco, look, when I was there, man, I knew that there had to be some buildings at least 10 stories, 12 stories beneath the ground. It had to be. And then there were places where you could see it looked like something had melted the stone. I'm serious. You know, when I was in was in Nebraska and South Dakota, I went to some places, man, and I knew that the side of these mountains, because we walked in the caves and everything, I was like, yo, man, this is man-made. And they were like, yeah. And it looked like something melted it. But you could still make out fine corners. Like, it was real weird walking in these caves. If any of y'all been there, you know, and you've taken some of these little hikes and tours, you see what were once probably ancient castles of some sort, but they're under the mountain. It's in them. Like, for real. The surface that probably could have been tiled is flat. I mean, like work flat, like not like the weather. No, like, I mean, you can't miss it, people. And columns that you can see are pitted, but you know they have the same dimensions, like 4 or 5. And I'm like, what the hell? Is this gonna fall on us? I was like real dumb in my 20s, like in the 30s, seeing this stuff. I was like, man, just saying, y'all, check it out. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this, okay? Now, this is back to the Hathors after Virginia had made a statement. Okay? When we're talking about as far as the languages, Osiris, Isis, and many other Egyptian concepts and words. excuse me, Hathor's response. We will offer our responses to specific questions in that regard, although the material that we have planned for this book does not address that. Now, we are attempting to bring forward practical tools and an understanding that will serve as keys of remembrances and signatures to those who will read the words and recall many things. Recall. Remember, I was telling you guys it's possible. We desire our information to serve everyone in their own evolution and ascension, but we are open. Now, evolution doesn't mean monkey to man. Evolution means the dynamics of like self-interface and change, to manipulate your own structure, to work your own DNA, to acquiesce the barest of the most important essential. That is that spirit force, that source, that Hawa, that light. And to think and to put yourself into effect, like into work. You know what I'm saying? And to breathe. But I ain't talking about this kind of breathe. No, a deeper breathe. Anywho, let's carry on. We desire our information to serve everyone in their own evolution and ascension, but we are open to discussing any questions you have about our history or background. Now, to answer your questions in regard to Cyrus, I had to put a little bubble around that. There is a direct connection between Venus and Sirius. Okay? And the connection is that we originally came from Sirius after entering this universe. Now, the Egyptian gods, you remember they moved between dimensions. Okay? The Egyptian gods to which you refer, such as Osiris and Isis, would best be described in your terminology as force fields, energy patterns of awareness, and vast consciousness. These energies were anthropomorphized, I should know better, by humans in the Egyptian period as Osiris and Isis and so on. So the Egyptian pantheon is actually a picture, if you will, of force fields that move through the universe. Now, we would therefore encourage you in these modern times, when you contemplate the Egyptian pantheon, not to take it literally, for the literal understanding was given to the lesser minds of the period. Understand instead that all teachings are on multiple levels, so that what was taken literally by the less evolved consciousness of earlier times was understood by the high priesthood to be symbolic of energies, force fields that moved. That's why I keep telling y'all, when they say Egypt and talking about the pyramids of Giza, I'm like, dude, that was everywhere as we coexist, the essence. How could Egypt exist if not by some other factor or force? And why is it that fear is the most prominent thing that is pushed, regardless of the knowledge being shared? Baby steps, right? So let's just hold on to believing in all the pyramids. Why the oldest one's here? But regardless, what was the real purpose? Of course, their understanding of these energies was different from your present times, but essentially, the energy of Isis and Osiris still remains active and is open to all. This is true of all the pantheon. They are aspects of the one source, the one creative force is all there is. And these are simply aspects or streams of consciousness that move out of the one source. So again, it is best to understand that these pantheon deities are benevolent forces that can be aligned with, but they are not the Godhead. They are not the ultimate source, which is without all duality or polarity. So this is Virginia here, and I'll peep Virginia out. Regarding the Hathor influence in ancient Egypt, you didn't give an approximate date counting backwards from the birth of Christ Jesus. Would this be 20,000, 50,000, or 100,000 years or more? Well, the Hathors. It would be longer than that. But in terms of the traces that are left in Egyptian history, we go to the period before the pharaohs, before Heliopolis, to the time when the sky goddess was Hathor and the sky god was Horus. The location, okay, somebody likes something. The location is sequential time. The location in sequential time would be approximately 10,000 BC, nearly 12,000 years ago. Virginia says the Egyptian period? Hathors, the Egyptian period. However, we have worked with this planet prior to that. The Egyptian period is simply one cultural expression of the mystery. The mystery is transcultural, and it extends beyond all times and all places. So we work through those cultures and those belief systems that we encounter. Virginia, who are able and willing to communicate with you? Hathors. Yes, as ascended beings, we are able to traverse wide areas and interact with numerous civilizations. At times, we may make contact with only a few individuals. At other times, as in ancient Egypt, we contact and work with thousands. Although some of the information we bring has been preserved in the Egyptian esoteric or hidden teachings, most of our knowledge has yet to be communicated to mankind. So Virginia says, yeah, to help y'all out. Yeah, that was a real Jesus born, people. Anyway, it's not the story you've been told. Anyway, Virginia, thank you. In terms of Egyptian history, then, did the Hathors, and his name wasn't Jesus. I just get so tired of that. Anyway, did the Hathors have anything to do with building the Great Pyramids of Egypt? No, Hathors, no, we did not. Regarding the pyramids, they were not merely burial chambers, as some of your historians and archaeologists believe. Although many of them actually had burial chambers within them, their primary function was an oscillators of energy. And because the sides of the pyramids originally were burnished, highly polished, granite-like marble, this would cause the pyramid to oscillate energy and receive energies. Initiates would enter the pyramids in designated areas that were laid out in specific mathematical ratios. This permitted them to receive understanding of the great universe and the great mystery that they could not have achieved if they were not in such a matrix of energy. So that was one level. Now, two, another function of the pyramids was energetic. The pyramids were installed in specific mathematical ratios externally to facilitate the creation of a grid work. Now, this energetic grid work on the planet was laid for the express purpose of holding the next grid. Now, what is now called the Christ grid, which came into existence when your teacher, known as Jesus of Nazareth, dictated his efforts. So when this great being entered into his work, the grid that was established by the pyramids supported that new vibration, and that vibrational Christ grid continues to strengthen to this day. So the pyramids were multi-level and multi-purpose devices. Just a teacher that came to show people another level of ascension. In Virginia, I know from being in Guatemala that there are literally hundreds of pyramids scattered through Central America and Mexico, but people don't even know they are there. Hathors, yes, they are covered with jungle. In Virginia, so are you saying that these pyramids are positioned around the planet at various points? Hathors, yes. But it was not done by one specific civilization. It was done by many different civilizations. But all beings and civilizations that participated in their construction were deeply connected through their intuition and their understanding of the great mystery. And they understood energetically, that's what it says, what they were doing. That means within it was a known knowledge. But there was no joining together under one chief architect, nor was there a meeting of the chief architects in time and three-dimensional space. This was all done in these various locations, but obviously drawing from the same source. They also had outside help. Listen, they also had outside help from space. No, that's Virginia, but she's correct when they say out space. That's why I can't wait till we're reading the Iron Republic. I mean, not the Iron Republic, but the beautiful books. Yes, from the Palladians and Syrians, etc. I'm gonna stop right there. Oh, I guess good. I'm gonna bring the map down a little, and I wish I had those little pins. I would put it up on the wall, and then face it and put pins, colored pins with the little plastic beads on it, and show you the places. Because I like that map. My personal, um, you know what I mean? My personal. I find more intuitiveness in that map than I do in anything they have here. Especially when I take my magnifying glass and I look at the Earth, our Earth, and I'm like, wait a minute, California's an island. Oh, South America, as big as Africa almost. America ain't, and all South, North, Canada, all that is so-called Ayolas, America. The Atlanteans. And as far as the race thing, it was different people here, but we are the autochthonous, we're the original people, regardless of what people believe. And that's a fact. Okay. So appreciate you guys. I was reading 1493 a little bit. No, well, actually, I was reading that, and I picked up like 1493 because I wanted to find something in there, and I haven't found it yet. Well, it's a lot of information, but I've been highlighting certain little points in there. Dude, it's all us, man. Especially in 1941. Like, and this book right here. This is what cracks me up about all these people running around. I'm Latino, man. Not knocking them. 1491. Oh my goodness. It talks about us straight up. It talks about us like a mofo. Even the original people of Europe, all the way to here. There's more books about us, and all the other books are brand new. They're like 20th and 21st century. Our books go back to like the 13th, 12th, and 11th century. Before that, like, how you just gonna come and think you're gonna swashbuckle and hijack our identity and who we are because of some damn Ashkenazis? And they're not even Ashkenazis. I don't know what they are. No hate, just saying, because like I said, not all Ashkenazis with it. A lot of them will tell you the truth for those who have had that opportunity. Anyway, it's time for me to go and click, boom. What was that? Let me read some of these because we're at 54 minutes. I want to get out of here. I'm concerned with what under the ground. Oh, man. Now, what is there? Those specialties traveling. Yeah, don't be concerned. Never have an ideology that can be conducive to a form of fear or our ignorance. Our ignorance is what allows fear. Don't even fret about it. You'll know or you won't. Gold, okay. Yep. That's what they mean when they said farm. You know what I mean? It's crazy. They needed slaves to dig diamonds. Now, well, see, that's the whole thing. You know how, if you got a really, really good sound system, you're going to use a certain tin, aluminium's tin steel. But if you really want to bump and you're not worried about it getting wet, you're going to use gold. What gold doesn't really corrode a lot, but you have dissimilar. So you have gold with aluminum or stainless steel tips or whatever. There's going to be some you know what I'm saying? That's why there's certain gems and certain metals that are very important to allowing certain things to function. Even silica, there's more than one form of silica. And that has been the go-to because it's better for faster processors, faster than gold, silver, copper, or any of that stuff. So when you get into silica, it's like you're dealing with fiber optics, speed of light. You dig what I'm saying? And even quadruple that. That's why the gems and all that other stuff and other elements to which belong within the earth that nobody knows about. You know what I mean? Hyperborea. Actually, we exist in Hyperborea. We're in a state of it now, if you look it up. That, you know what it means. Moon is a Death Star, like in Star Wars. Well, we attacked it. I told people to look at the moon, and you can see explode. You can see if you know it blasts. Any veteran in here know when 88s, 808s, or whatever hit. You know what it looks like. You know the crater, and you know around it. Look at the surface of the moon. Bottom of the ocean has the same thing. Who was the man that said the world would be better off if the moon was? Oh, I forget. I remember that. After saying that, yes, the Half the Material Messages from a Cinder Civilization book by Tom King. Yeah, and actually, there's another one I believe too. DNA shifting, helix transformation. That's what they're doing now. That's why they want people to not accept them being men or women. And you see, because of what these so-called teachers in these schools have been pushing based on academics, sad our children, our younglings have accepted this foolishness based upon sex, not sexuality, because sexuality would be duality between two, but that's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a perversion. Hey Scott, what's going on? What was that? I can't see. I have 1493 on Audible. Yeah, so do I. It's excellent. I love to read, but I love reading because the physical, the exercise. And then I'm actually able to go through some emotions like, oh, wow, wait. I'll be like Zorro up in that motherfucker. I'll be like, what? Dotting I's, crossing T's. I'll be going crazy up in. Anyway, let me get out of here, y'all. I need to go to the range and get a couple hundred rounds to these, get these bolts a little warmed up and broken in. And you know, I paid some ends for them damn bolts, so they better perform. So I'm gonna get with y'all a little later. We're gonna read, you know, George Jones and who is that? That's all pale skin woman with a booty like she got BBL or something. Ew. Anyway, we got Airbnb here. So George Jones, 13th Tribe, and William Cooper. Okay. So beloved sisters, my wonderful brothers. I'll let y'all in a little bit.